Admiral Vox of the Galactic Federation's exploratory fleet stared in disbelief at the planetary assessment report. Earth, the third planet of the Sol system, contained a species that by all rights should have been extinct millennia ago. This assessment must be flawed, Vox declared, mandibles clicking in irritation. No sentient species could evolve to dominance with such pitiful natural defenses. Lieutenant Krell, who had led the observation team, stood firm. The report is accurate, Admiral. Humans possess no claws, minimal body hair, dull teeth, fragile skin, and limited physical strength compared to most Class 3 predators. Their sensory capabilities are substandard at best. Yet they dominate their world. Vox's compound eyes narrowed in suspicion. Completely. They'd spread to every continent. What particularly confounded the Federation scouts was humanity's approach to protection systems, which seemed almost deliberately ineffective by galactic standards. Their most common dwelling protection consisted of simple mechanical locks that could be defeated with basic tools. Their digital systems employed passwords that were frequently the names of offspring or pets. Their personal vehicles, primitive combustion engine contraptions, could be accessed with a single metal key. Most baffling of all was their biological vulnerability. A simple puncture wound could cause death through fluid loss. Their skeletons fractured under modest impact. Their respiratory system shared a pathway with their digestive system, creating a constant choking hazard. Perhaps they compensate with advanced weapons technology, Vox suggested hopefully. Negative, Admiral. The human's most common personal defense weapon is a small chemical propellant device that requires manual aiming, has limited ammunition, and cannot distinguish friend from foe. Preposterous. Vox slammed the tentacle against his command console. Order a close reconnaissance mission. Something is being missed. Captain Tom Miller of the UN Space Command knew the aliens were watching. Their cloaking technology was advanced but not perfect. Their ships created subtle gravitational anomalies that Earth's newest detectors could spot. They still don't get it, do they? His XO, Lieutenant Kate Jones, remarked with a smile. Nope, same mistake every observing species makes, Miller replied, sipping his coffee. They see our apparent vulnerabilities and assume we're easy prey. The bridge crew of the USC Defender chuckled knowingly. Humanity had encountered 17 different alien civilizations in the past century, and while most were peaceful, a few had initially considered Earth ripe for conquest. None had succeeded. The Federation's close reconnaissance team returned with even more confounding information. Humans deliberately exposed themselves to harmful solar radiation to darken their skin pigmentation, reported Scout Zilb. They consume known toxic substances for recreation. They engage in activities with high probabilities of physical injury for sport. Vox's confusion deepened. What about their military capabilities? Modest by our standards. Their weapons are kinetic or chemical-based. Their armor provides minimal protection against energy weapons. Then how have they survived? Their planet shows evidence of multiple extinction-level events, yet they persist. A junior science officer named Plex nervously stepped forward. Sir, permission to offer a theory. Proceed. I believe we're misinterpreting human protection systems entirely. They don't rely on physical or technological barriers as primary defenses. Plex activated a holographic display showing various human historical scenarios. Observe, when threatened, humans don't retreat to fortified positions. They adapt and counterattack. Their protection isn't in prevention, but in response. The display showed primitive humans hunting creatures many times their size through coordinated attacks. It showed medieval humans recovering from devastating plagues. It showed modern humans rebuilding cities after natural disasters. Furthermore, Plex continued, humans possess an unprecedented capacity for weaponizing their environment. Any resource available, chemical, biological, physical, they can transform into a weapon given sufficient motivation. The bridge fell silent as the implications became clear. You're suggesting, Vox said slowly, that humans don't need effective protection systems because their entire species functions as a responsive defense network. Plex finished. Their seeming vulnerability is precisely what drove their evolutionary intelligence. that compensate with problem-solving, pattern recognition, and technological innovation at speeds we can barely comprehend. Vox contemplated this unsettling conclusion. Recommendation? Immediate diplomatic contact, Plex said firmly. Any species that evolved without significant natural defenses but achieved planetary dominance must possess other advantages we would be unwise to test. 3 days later, the first official diplomatic vessel from the Galactic Federation entered Earth orbit and requested permission to land. Captain Miller and his team greeted the alien delegation at the UN spaceport in Geneva. "Welcome to Earth," Miller said cordially. "We've been expecting you." Admiral Vox's translator conveyed his surprise. "You detected our observation vessels?" Miller smiled. "Of course. Your gravitational distortion signature is quite distinctive." "Yet you took no defensive measures," Vox noted with confusion. "We didn't need to," Lieutenant Jones explained. "We assessed your capabilities and determined you posed no immediate threat." Vox's mandibles clicked in what translated as nervous laughter. "I see our initial assessment was correct after all. Your protection systems are indeed remarkably ineffective, because you've evolved beyond needing them in their traditional form." Miller nodded. "The best defense isn't an impenetrable shield, Admiral. It's ensuring that attacking us is simply never worth the cost." As they walked toward the diplomatic center, Vox couldn't help noticing how the seemingly fragile humans moved with absolute confidence, completely unconcerned by their many vulnerabilities. It was then he fully understood why the Federation's first contact protocols emphasized caution with developing species. Sometimes, the most dangerous predators were those who had no natural weapons at all, for they had been forced to invent far deadlier ones.